Hello guys, Major Basso 1 here and welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing a review on the Buffalo Bills versus Kansas City Chiefs playoff game for the AFC Championship. Buffalo's depth chart is looking well, with Josh Allen as their starting quarterback, Devin Singletary as their starting running back, Stephon Diggs as number 1 wide receiver, John Brown and Cole Beasley as second and third, Dawson Knox tight end, Dion Dawkins as their top offensive lineman, and their left tackle, and the rest of their offensive linemen. What did change today for the Buffalo Bills? 2 changes. Gabriel Davis is most likely going to be out, seeing that Buffalo had put Kenny Stills from their practice squad to their regular roster, and that is who we expect to replace Gabriel Davis over Duke Williams. And the Buffalo Bills also made a change with their defense, having Dane Jackson in for a third left cornerback. He did get 2 interceptions, which against Sam Darnold, which is his only 2 interceptions of his career. But I don't think that would factor in much, seeing that they're going to go against Patrick Mahomes, who is a big throw type of guy. And seeing that Dane Jackson will be stuck at third spot, we'd see more of Tyron Johnson and Tre'Davious White going against the wide receivers. If it would come down to the situation, late game, we'd most likely only see Dane Jackson on a Hail Mary, unless Tre'Davious White or Tyron Johnson had to go back to the sideline for some reason. Their defense looks good with their regular guys, and their special teams. I'd expect them to, if there were a lot of punts and kicks return, if there were a lot of punts and kicks, that they would have Isaiah McKenzie and Andre Roberts switch places. Because that last game against the Dolphins showed that Isaiah McKenzie can do well. Their statistics for the postseason. The Buffalo Bills have Josh Allen leading them in passing yards with 530. They have Josh Allen leading him in rushing yards, which is not too well, seeing that you'd expect a running back to lead them in rushing yards. And even if they were with the quarterback leading rushing yards, that it wouldn't be just 57 rushing yards in 2 games. In receiving, they have Stephon Diggs with 234, tackles with Matt Milano and 18, and with interceptions, you have Tyron Johnson with 1 interception that was tied for the longest touchdown in postseason history, and that was a 101-yard pick six against Lamar Jackson. Now, for their team statistics in the postseason, I'm not going to take too much time with this video to look at them, so if you need to see them, you can pause the video and look at them. Now, their depth chart is looking like Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback, which people didn't expect to be, seeing that he was in concussion protocol and also had a tweaked nerve at the beginning of this week. You have Clyde Edwards-Helaire as their running back, who's number 1, who is also questionable, which I think will come into play, seeing that Clyde Edwards-Helaire was the rusher who had the most rushing yards in 1 game for the Kansas City Chiefs, and that was against the Buffalo Bills. He had 164 rushing yards, and that was their most rushing yards in 1 game of the season, and their last 101-yard rushing game. So I believe that in the run attack, Clyde Edwards-Helaire would most likely be in, but would not be a big factor. Le'Veon Bell would play, but he would be more of like a third down back, and Darrell Williams would be who they go for as far as their number 1 back. They have Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, and Nicole Hartman as their top 3 wide receivers, but Sammy Watkins is questionable, so you can expect Byron Pringle to get more snaps than Sammy Watkins. Travis Kelce is tight end. Eric Fisher as left tackle, and then the rest of their offensive line. Now, something that changed for the Chiefs today is Bashaud Breeland went from questionable for the game to coming out of concussion protocol, just like Patrick Mahomes, and being able to play the game. That will be a big factor, seeing that Josh Allen goes for passes that are more than 20 yards, more than any quarterback in the NFL, and he is top 3 when it comes to being successful on those passes. And Bashaud Breeland, against any quarterbacks who tried throwing at him or towards him while he was guarding a wide receiver, he held them to a 70.3 pass rating. Special teams, I believe that will factor in for the Chiefs because they will have to decide in game whether they want Mecole Hardman or Tyreek Hill to return punts and kicks, because they're both good punt and kick returners, but you've got to see if the speed is more of what you want or the guy who has the experience on this, only being in his second year in the league. Postseason statistics for the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes leads them in passing yards with 255, which I believe he would have more if he played that third and fourth quarter of the Browns and Chiefs game. Darrell Williams leads them in rushing yards only because Le'Veon Bell is a third down back, and you have Clyde Edwards-Helaire not in for the first game and second game. You have Tyreek Hill with receiving yards with 110, which he leads very well in as far as the other wide receivers and him in receiving yards, but also has Travis Kelce 1 yard less with 109 receiving yards. You have Tyrann Mathieu with 7 tackles, which leads the team in tackles, and you have Tyrann Mathieu leading the team in interceptions with 1. Now, their team stats in the postseason, I'm not going to show the whole thing, but all I'm going to say is that they average only allowing 8.5 points against their opponents, which is something that not a lot of teams have been able to say. They average. But I'll scroll through the rest of the statistics, and if you want to see them, you can pause the video. And for my picks in the game, I believe that the Buffalo Bills will win that game just because Patrick Mahomes came out of concussion protocol very early, and that leaves a lot of people and professional medical doctors baffled. And even after him clearing that concussion protocol, he still has to worry about that tweaked nerve that was bothering him greatly when it came to passing the ball against the Browns before he came out of the game in the third quarter. Seeing that the Buffalo Bills already have Tre'Davious White, who is able to get interceptions against Russell Wilson and Nick Mullins, and against, I think, maybe Sam Darnold, but are things that they have to worry about, because Tre'Davious White may have gotten them against Sam Darnold and Nick Mullins, but those were very well thrown passes. One by Nick Mullins almost being a touchdown if Tre'Davious White didn't intercept it, and one from Sam Darnold, I think, being around a 30-yard pass that if he didn't intercept that would have been by Justin Herbert that he threw that was around a 15-yard pass that if he didn't intercept would have put them in prime position for a field goal. So if he is able to intercept against players like Russell Wilson, Nick Mullins, and Justin Herbert, he will be able to combine the knowledge of intercepting against pocket passers and passers that come around to try to scramble out and look for their targets to be able to stop Patrick Mahomes, who can scramble out and still throw like a 40-yard pass. So I believe that the Buffalo Bills will win that game. But the Chiefs will put up a pretty good fight. And I'd like to see what you think. Put down in the comment sections what you think that the game will end to. Buffalo winning, Kansas City winning. Like, comment, subscribe, and turn on all post notifications.